Hey y'all, welcome to the film strip. What do you get when you combine a canine custody battle, an oil rig salesman, and a cuckoo clock? You get The Awful Truth. The Awful Truth is one of the classic screwball comedies that's not bringing up baby. I do love that film so much, but I do feel like everyone who's taken any film course at all has seen it, and this movie is just as good and isn't viewed in class as often. That's why I chose this movie, which also stars Cary Grant. This time with Irene Dunne, she of I Swear She Could Be a Ringer for Kristen Bell and Smoke Gets in Your Eyes fame. Cary Grant and Irene Dunne actually made 3 movies together. This is their first pairing, but the other screwball comedy they made is called My Favorite Wife. It's a doozy of a film. It's really great, but I thought it was a little bit out there for people who might not be as familiar or enjoy screwball comedies as much. This one is a bit more down to earth, even though there's plenty of hijinks to go around. And actually, a staple of screwball comedies is the high level of hijinks. So you can't really get screwball comedies without a high load of hijinks, so prepare yourselves for that. It's sort of part and parcel of the genre, and we'll get into why that is in just a bit. So when I think about rom-coms, my brain automatically goes to screwball comedies. I just think they're delightful. They're a perfect balance of romance with comedy. My platonic ideal is their scripts, the way that they're directed, the dizzying heights that they get to. You might ask yourself why the dizzying heights, but there's actually a really interesting historical reason for it. So we talked a little bit about the Hays Code last time and the ways that it restricted the way that movies talked about and depicted sex. Obviously, creatives aren't just going to drop the subject. So the way that creatives worked around it was through what Stanley Cavell calls comedies of remarriage. Basically what happens is that 2 characters are together, they find a reason for divorce, they're separated, and then through a series of crazy random happenstances, they find their way together again. So naturally, to get 2 characters who no longer like each other into the same room, you have to come up with more and more elaborate ways to get them to talk to each other. And that's why you have the crazy hijinks that you do in screwball comedies. It's a series of events that normally wouldn't happen, but these 2 characters are ultimately destined to be together. One of the things I love about screwball comedies is the sense of queerness I get. Not that I think that the characters are gay, but I mean, but that everything is upended, everything is up in the air. You don't know left from right, up from down, gay from straight. A lot of the momentum of screwball comedies is this idea that anything could happen. You get to such a place that the world is full of possibilities. And a lot of queer theory and queerness hinges on that idea of possibility, that there is no set path, that the world is an opportunity to explore yourself and explore others. So there are a lot of staples of screwball comedies, the things that come to mind immediately when you think about them. The sparkling dialogue, the strange situations, Cary Grant. But there are some other things that we can think about that also have a mainstay in the genre. In addition to the sparkling dialogue, we can think about it as verbal sparring. So this is more of a negotiation of the sexes. You can also think about the ideas of cynicism versus romanticism. Are the characters cynics? Are they romantics? Are they both? What are these modern ideas of love and marriage, and are they upheld at the end or not? Which brings us into modernity. So what about the movie feels very modern? What about it feels timeless? Is there a struggle of modern versus timelessness in the film, similar to the struggle between romanticism and cynicism? What feels modern? Is there anything that particularly surprised you with its modern sensibility? And finally, here's what I'll be thinking about. What about Cary Grant makes him a rom-com god? Oh, Archie. Are there ways that he embodies any of our themes? All of our themes? So there's a bit at the very beginning of the movie where Cary Grant is sitting on the arm of a couch, and I found it a very warm and humanizing choice, and I don't know that any other leading man would have made the same one. He brings a very human energy to everything, and I find that really interesting. So those are the things I want to talk about with regards to The Awful Truth. I hope you guys can join me at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I can answer any of your questions, and I'm really looking forward to having a discussion about this film with you. I left some links in the show notes to the syllabus and my Venmo if you want to throw me some money, and links to some other videos should be popping up right about now. All right, I think that wraps it up for us today, and I really look forward to seeing you on Sunday.